Hello, future engineers, students, subscribers, and watchers. Here is another video in Strength of Materials 3, and this is part 2. And in this video, I'm going to present sample problems under topics such as construction of shear moment diagram, although I will not construct shear moment diagrams for most of the problems here. Applications of maximum moment, maximum shear stress, maximum deflection. So I hope that through this video, your knowledge in strength of materials or intro to design will be enhanced so that you can prepare for various types of problems that you will encounter in structural engineering and construction. So problem 7, the figure shows a rigid bar that is supported by a pin at A and two rods, one made of steel and the other of bronze. Neglecting the weight of the bar, compute the stress in the steel rod, the stress in the bronze rod, and the deformation at the point of application of the load. So we have here a structure wherein the horizontal bar is rigid, and we can solve this as far as strength of materials is concerned. For non-rigid horizontal bars, we can solve that also, can address the solution in structural analysis. But here, this is enough to answer the question. So first, the stress in the steel rod. So after the load is applied, it will deflect in the manner shown below. It is here. Then we have the force in the steel, force in the bronze rod, which are all in tension. And these are the corresponding deflections, which can be related by similar triangles. So first, stress in the steel rod, we sum up moments about A0, horizontal component of reaction 0, of course. So by similar triangles, deflection in the steel rod as to 0.6 equals deflection in the bronze rod as to 1.6 equals deflection under the load as to 2.4. So that deflection under the load is 4 times deflection of the steel rod, and deflection in the bronze rod is equal to 8/3 of the deflection of the steel rod. So you have expressed deflection in the bronze rod and under the load in terms of the deflection of the steel rod. Then summation moment about A for the equation P sub S times 0.6 plus P sub B times 1.6 equals 50 times 2.4. So remember that deflection is force length over AE, or stress length over E. So from this relation, so 3 times deflection of the bronze rod, and the deflection in the bronze rod is force in the bronze rod, length of the bronze rod, which is 2 over area 300 E 83 gigapascal. So you just make these units consistent with the other side, equals 8 deflection of the steel rod, force in the steel rod, length of steel rod 1, area 600 E 200. So from here we can express force in the bronze rod in terms of the steel rod, and it is 83 over 300 force of the steel rod. Substitute into this equation here. So we have 0.6 P sub S plus 83 over 300 P sub S times 1.6 equals 50 times 2.4, and that's 120. So we can now solve force in the steel rod, and it is equal to 115.09 kilonewtons. From here, we can now compute the stress. Let's uh, change this to newtons, so multiply 1000 divided by area of the steel rod, which is 600. So force on the bronze rod, on the other hand, is 83 times 115.09 over 300 from this equation. So P sub B equals 31.842 kilonewtons. So stress in the steel rod, 115,090 newtons over 600, and that is equal to 191.8 megapascals, and it is in tension. Likewise, stress in the bronze rod, 31,842 divided by 300, also in tension, and that is equal to 106.1 megapascals tension. Finally, the deformation at the point of application of the load, it is 4 times deformation of steel rod, and deformation of steel rod is stress in the steel rod, length of steel rod 1000 mm divided by E 200,000 megapascals to convert it to mm. So for stress in the steel rod, length of the steel rod in mm divided by G in megapascals, 200,000 megapascals. So the deformation under the load is equal to 3.836 mm. Problem 6. The rigid bars ABC and CD are supported by pins at A and D and by a steel rod at B. There is a roller connection between the bars at C. Compute the following: the vertical displacement of point C caused by the 50 kN load, the stress in the supporting rod, and the vertical displacement of point B. So because the two horizontal bars are rigid, when the load is applied, then they will rotate about the hinges or pins at A and D respectively. So this will be the final configuration, exaggerated final configuration. So we have here the deflection under B and the deflection under C, and we can compute, of course, considering CD. I will not solve it anymore because the 50 kilonewton load is acting at the center, and therefore the reaction would be half of 50, 25 kilonewtons upward for CD, and then transmit that 25 kilonewtons downward at C. So let's consider ABC. We sum up moments about A equals 0. Then we can solve for P sub B. So summation moment A equals 0, P sub B times 3 equals 25 times 4.5. So P sub B is equal to 37.5 kilonewtons. Then by similar triangles for the deflection, deflection at B as to 3 equals deflection at C as to 4.5. So that means the deflection under the load C is 1.5 deflection of under B, and since deflection at C is equal to 1.5, then the deflection at B is force in bar B, then length divided by area E. So substitute, deflection at C is 1.5, force is 37,500 newtons, length is 3,000 mm, and divided by area 300 mm square, E 200,000 megapascals. So the unit of this would be mm times 1.5. So deflection at C can now be computed 2.8125 mm. Then the stress in the supporting rod. So the stress is simply force, which is 37,500 over area 300. So stress in steel rod, because that is steel, stress in bar B is force 37,500 over area. This is in megapascals, and it is equal to 125.0 megapascals, of course, tension. Then the vertical displacement of point B. So from this relationship, it is simply deflection at C divided by 1.5, but I just use these calculations 37,500 times 3,000 over 300 times 200,000. So deflection at B is equal to 1.875 mm. For the next problem, 7, we have here, without constructing the shear and moment diagrams, determine the maximum shear, the maximum positive moment, the maximum negative moment for the beam loaded shown as shown. Neglect the weight of the beam. So we can answer all these problems by the technique in mechanics of materials or strength of materials. So first, in order for us to determine the maximum shear, because this is not end supported, if it is end supported, the maximum shear would be one of the support end reactions, but it may be reaction at A, or it may be the shear just to the left or just to the right of point C, or it may be at B. So let's find out. So let's solve for the reactions. So let's have the FBD first. So reaction at A, summation moment about C equals 0, AY times 10, then equals 30 times 6 plus 12 times 9 times 1.5. That's 1.5. So AY times 10 equals 12 times 9 times 1.5 plus 30 times 6. So again, 12 times 9, then half of 9 is 4.5. This is already 3, so that's why that's 1.5. Then we have plus 30 times 6. So AY is equal to 34.2 kilonewtons. This may be the maximum shear, but let us find out. 34.2 constant minus 30, so 4.2. So the shear at V is 4.2. Then minus 12 times 6. That may be the maximum shear. So let's have the FBD for just to the left and just to the right of point C. So let's evaluate this shear just to the left of C. And that is, we consider free body diagram from A to C, imaginary only, and consider all loads and forces to the left of that section. So it is equal to 34.2 minus 30, then minus 12 times 6 minus shear at C just to the left equals 0. So shear at C just to the left is equal to negative 67.8 kilonewtons. Then that's the maximum shear, because shear just to the right is definitely it is only 12 times 3. If you draw the free body diagram just to the right of C, so we consider this load. So shear, which is upward just to the right, minus 12 times 3 equals 0. So it's 36 compared to 67.8. So this is the maximum shear, 67.8 kilonewtons. And the sign does not matter for shear. Then the maximum positive moment occurs somewhere here where shear is 0, and the negative moment occurs under or over the overhang, which is here. We can easily compute that. But let's evaluate first the maximum positive moment. Let's locate shear is 0 because that's the principal shear 0 maximum moment. Since we already computed AY, then the shear here is 4.2, then minus 12 times x1 equals 0. So shear is 34.2 minus 30 minus 12 times x1 up to here equals 0. So x1 can now be solved. It is equal to 0.35 meter. So for the maximum positive moment, imagine that we consider the free body diagram of this section to the left of that, then we sum up moment about that section. The positive moment is counterclockwise. So it is equal to AY times 4 plus X1, the moment arm, then minus 30 times X1, minus 12 times X1 times X1 over 2. So as a result, maximum positive moment is equal to 34.2 times 4.35 minus 30 times 0.35 minus 12 times 0.35 square over 2. So this 12 times 0.35 square over 2 is 12 times x1 0.35 moment arm 0.35 over 2. That's why we have minus 12 times 0.35 square over 2. So the maximum positive moment therefore is equal to 137.5 kilonewton meter. Then see the maximum negative moment which occurs on this overhang here. So let's apply it, and that's the positive moment supposedly at C, just to the right. So moment, summation moment about C, that's the FBD automatic, plus 12 times 3 times 1.5 equals 0. So M sub CR plus 12 times 3 times 1.5 equals 0. So MCR is negative 54. So the negative moment is 54 kilonewton meter. So that's it for this problem. So problem 8. For the beam and loading shown, determine the following reaction at A, the maximum shear, the maximum moment. So this is the figure. We have a second degree. So this is parabola vertex here. So for the reaction at A, draw the FBD as shown. Then let's divide the load as shown and call this F1, F2, F3. So F1 is located 1/3 of 3, so 1 meter from the left. F2 is 2/3 of 3, so 2 meters from the left. F3 is this distance from vertex to the centroid of this uh, parabolic loading, spandrel of parabola, is 3/4 of 12, and that is 9. So this is 1/4 of 12, so 3 meters from B, 9 meters from this zero loading as shown. So summation moment about B equals 0, but before that, let's solve for F1. 1/2 of 3 times 10, F1, that's 15 kilonewtons. F2 is 1/2 of 3 times 5, and that is equal to 7.5 kilonewtons. F3 is area of spandrel parabola is 1/3 12 times 10, and that is equal to 40 kilonewtons. So the moment arms are there already. So we sum up moments about B to solve for AY. So AY times 15 equals 15 times 14 plus 7.5 times 13 plus 40 times 3. So this is 3. Take note. So I hope that you can analyze these moment arms here. So AY is equal to 28.5 kilonewtons. Then for the maximum shear, because the beam is end supported, it is either AY or RB. So let's solve for RB by summing up moments about A. So RB times 15 equals 15 times 1 plus 7.5 times 2 plus F3, which is 40, and the distance is 9 plus 3, so 12. So R sub B is equal to 34 kilonewtons, and since this is greater than AY, this is the maximum shear, 34 kilonewtons. Then for the next question, the maximum moment. The maximum moment by principle is where shear is 0, and since AY 28.5 minus 15 minus 7.5 is still positive, so 0 shear would be somewhere here, and I'll call that distance x1. So that's the location of positive moment, maximum positive moment. So shear is 0, so setting up shear equation, AY 28.5 minus 15 minus 7.5 minus 1/3 of x1 times, I'll call this W1 at this And here, I'm not showing it here, but because you're listening, that is W1. So setting up W1 X1, it is equal to 18. So let's just put that equation. We will go to that as we express um, W1 or W1 in terms of X1 by squared property of parabola. So from the figure, W1 as to X1 square equals 10 as to 12 square. By squared property of parabola, W1 as to X1 square equals 10 as to 12 square. So that means W1 equals 5 over 72 X1 square. Substitute here to solve for x1. So 5 over 72 x1 squared times x1 equals 18. So x1 is cube root of 18 times 72 all over 5. So cube root of quantity 18 times 72 over 5. So that is equal to 6.376 meters. So this is x1, 6.376 meters, the maximum positive moment. Imagine it's counterclockwise. So we simply sum up moments there. So it is equal to Mmax is equal to Ay times 3 plus x1, which is 9.376. So 28.5 times 9.376. Then minus F1, which is 15, and the moment arm is 9.376 minus 1, so that's 8.376 minus 15 times 8.376 minus F2 7.5, then we subtract again 1, so minus 7.5 times 7.376, then finally minus the area of this spandrel, 1/3 of x1 times w1, and w1 is equal to this 5 over 72 x1 squared, and the moment arm is 1/4 of x1. But since this value here is equal to 28.5 minus 15 minus 7.5, so the area here should be equal to 28.5 minus 22.5, 6 to make the shear 0. So I'll just subtract 6 times moment arm, and the moment arm is 1/4 of x1. So minus 6 times 6.376 over 4. And that's the maximum positive moment. So the maximum positive moment, therefore, is equal to 76.69 kilonewton meter. Problem 9. Given the moment diagram, determine the maximum magnitude of the uniform load in the beam. Then the maximum value of the concentrated load, the maximum magnitude of the vertical reaction. So for this problem, given the moment curve, let's construct first the shear diagram and then the load diagram so that we can answer all these problems. First, between the start up to here, we have change in moment. Remember, change in moment is equal to the area of the shear diagram. Since this is second degree, so the diagram there should be first degree and or triangular. The tangent initially is horizontal here. You just look at the figure, horizontal also here, and at the maximum highest point also. So change in moment, negative 800 minus 0. So because that is negative, so the shear diagram ordinate would start from 0 to negative also. So remember that the tangent here is the shear above, so it begins with 0. Then because it is negative first degree, so it looks like that, and I'll call the shear here as V1. So again, negative 800 minus 0 equals the area of this diagram, 1/2 of 2 times V1. So negative 800 minus 0, change in moment, equals area, 1/2 of 2 times V1. So V1 equals negative 800 newtons. Next, we have constant slope here, first degree. So therefore, it should be rectangular above. So change in moment, negative 80 minus negative 800. So that's positive 720. And it is equal to shear sub 2 times 1 meter because it is expected rectangular here and positive ordinate because the change in moment is positive. So call that V sub 2. The area is V sub 2 times 1. The change in moment, negative 80 minus negative 800. So that's positive 720 equals V sub 2 times 1. So V sub 2 is 720 newtons. Next, between this point and that point, so the change in moment is 176 minus negative 80. So that's 256. Because this is second degree, it should be first degree above, and it should cross this point. So the tangent is horizontal here. Remember, the slope of the tangent to the moment curve corresponds to the shear above. So since the tangent is horizontal, zero slope, so this should be 0. And the shear, because 176 minus negative 80 is 256, it is greater than, uh, it is 1/2, because it is expected rectangular. 1/2 of V3 times 1.6 equals change in moment 176 minus negative 80. So let's draw that figure anticipating that V3 is less than V2. So the area is equal to change in moments here. 176 minus negative 80 equals 1/2 of 1.6 times V3. 176 minus negative 80 equals 1/2 of 1.6 times V3. So V sub 3 is equal to 320 newtons. So it's indeed less than V2. Then between this point and this point, we have second degree again. It may be the continuation, but definitely it begins with 0 shear. So it just extend. We expect it is another triangular diagram here, first degree, because this is second degree. So I'll call this V sub 4 here. Then my V sub 4. So the area is 1/2 of 2.4 times V sub 4. Then we equate that to change in moment, which is negative 400 minus 176. So negative 400 minus 176 equals 1/2 of 2.4 times V4. So V sub 4 is negative 480 newtons. Then we have another first degree. It may be continued there. Or change in moment 0 minus negative 400. So positive 400. So that means we have a triangular diagram. Definitely it is 0 here, 0 shear, because the tangent is horizontal, 0 slope, and we have V sub 5. I'll just call that V sub 5. The figure looks as shown. So 0 minus negative 400 equals 1/2 of 2 times V sub 5. 0 minus negative 400 equals area 1/2 of 2 meters times V sub 5. So V sub 5 is 400 newtons. Then we go up. Let's have the load diagram shown. Imagine that's the beam. So since the ordinate here is 0, remember change in shear equals area above. This is first degree and negative. So that means the loading is, we have a loading here which is uniform rectangular going down. I'll call that W1. And V1, which is negative 800 minus 0, equals, the area of the loading is 2 times W1 above. So V1, negative 800 minus 0 equals 2 times W1. So W1 is negative 400 newtons per meter. I'll just make it positive 400 newtons per meter because in the figure, the loading is downward, of course. So W1 is 400 newtons per meter. So that's the answer for the maximum magnitude of the uniform load in the beam, although there are still loadings here, but that's the maximum. But anyway, we can verify that. So since between this point and that point, there's no change in shear, so that means there's no loading here. but there is an abrupt change in loading because it from V1 it becomes V2. So therefore, we have an upward reaction here, V2 minus V1. So V2 is 720, then minus V1, which is negative 800. So 720 minus negative 800 is equal to 1,520 upward. So that's 1,520 newtons upward. So after that, there's no change in shear, so that means there's no loading in between. Then, because we have here first degree curve, which has negative slope again, so we have a uniform load here because this is first degree, 0 degree there. Then I'll call the loading as W2. So 0 minus V3 equals 1.6 times W2 perhaps. So by the way, we have 400 newtons here because there is an abrupt change in shear from V2 to V3. So that load there is V3 minus V2. V3 is 320 minus V2 720. So that's negative 400 or 400 newtons downward. Then, as mentioned earlier, we have here a uniform load, and for that uniform load, negative 480 minus 320 equals 4 times W2. So, because we already verified, or we can verify that this curve, the shear curve, this is just a straight line. So, to do that, let's solve for the slope. The slope of this line is negative V3 320 divided by 1.6, so that's negative 200. Then negative V4 or V4 negative 480 divided by 2.4, that's also negative 200. So that means this is just straight line. Therefore, change in ordinates, which is V4 negative 480 minus V3 negative 320 equals area of the rectangular loading there, which is 4 times, because that's 4 times W2. So W2 is equal to 200, negative 200 newtons per meter. So because that's downward, we just put it there, W2 downward. So that's why W1 is greater than W2. Then at this section here, we have V4, V5. There is an upward change in shear. So that means there's an upward force there, reaction, which is V sub 5 minus V sub 4. So V sub 5, 400 minus negative of negative 480. So that's 880 newtons upward at this point. Then finally, we have another loading, uniform load, because this is first degree, and the change in ordinate 0 minus V5 equals 2 times W3. So again, 0 minus V5 change in shear equals area above, which is 2 times W3. So 0 minus V5, 0 minus 400 equals 2 times W3. W3 is also 200 newtons per meter. So that means this loading is just extended as shown in the figure. So from there, we have now the load diagram, because the shear here is 0. Then we can now answer the questions. Maximum value of the concentrated load is 400 newtons, and the maximum magnitude of the vertical reaction is 1520. So Pmax is 400 newtons downward, and maximum reaction is 1520 newtons upward. So that's it for this problem. Problem 10. This came out in November 2008 CE Civil Engineer Board Exam. A rectangular beam 200 mm by 260 millimeters in cross-section carries a uniformly distributed load of W kilonewtons per meter. Using 80% stress grade apitong 4 meters long, and the allowable stresses for bending and tension parallel to the grain of 16.5 megapascals. Compression parallel to the grain of 9.56 megapascals, and compression perpendicular to the grain of 2.20 megapascals, and modulus of elasticity of 7.31 gigapascals, shear of 1.73 megapascals. Determine the safe uniform load without exceeding the allowable bending stress, the allowable shearing stress, the allowable deflection of L over 240, and D. Determine the shear stress at 1 meter from support and 20 millimeters below the top fiber. So for number one, allowable bending stress is, as mentioned here, for bending and tension, 16.5 megapascals. And for a beam simply supported and supported, loaded with uniform load, the maximum moment is WL square over 8. Of course, you should know that already. So FB equals 16.5 megapascals, and this is 6m over BD square. It is also 6m over BD square for rectangular sections, but if not, then you just apply my over I or mc over I, where c is half of the depth, and moment of inertia, of course, is BD cube over 12, and you can derive that. So moment again is WL square over 8, where L is 4. So 16.5 equals 6m. Moment should be converted to Newton mm, so we multiply 1000. 1000 square rather. B is 200 mm, and depth is 260 mm. So 16.5 should be greater or equal to 6 times WL square over 8 times 1000 square to convert it to Newton mm, and divided by 200, 260 square. So from there, W should be less than equal to 18.59 kilonewtons per meter. Then for part B, the safe uniform load without exceeding the shearing stress. So without exceeding the shearing stress, shear stress formula for rectangular section, the maximum shear stress is 3 times maximum shear V over 2BD. The general formula is VQ over IB, or var VQ eta B, right? So 1.73 should be greater or equal to 3 times maximum shear over 2BD. Because the beam is end supported and the supports are simple, this V here is simply WL over 2. Then let's convert that to Newton. So 1.73 should be greater or equal to 3 times WL over 2 times 1000 to convert that to Newtons, divided by 2. B is 200 mm, depth 260. So W is in kilonewton per meter, and it should be less than equal to 29.99 kilonewtons per meter. Then C, the allowable deflection, L over 240 should be greater equal to formula for maximum deflection for beam 5WL to the fourth over 384 EI when the load is uniform over the entire span of a simply end supported beam. So substitute, we convert everything to newtons mm or units of newtons mm, right side. So this is 4000 mm over 240 should be greater than equal to 5W, then 4 to the fourth times 1000 to the fourth. The reason we multiply that by 1000 to the fourth, because the unit here is kilonewton meter cube. So to convert kilonewton meter cube to newton mm cube, that's the reason. Then 384 E is in megapascals, 7.31 gigapascals. So in megapascals, 7,310 megapascals. Then moment of inertia, 200 to 60 cube over 12. So W should be less than equal to 10.71 kilonewtons per meter, because this is the lowest among the design criteria. Then this controls. So this should be the safe uniform load that should be applied on the beam. Then D, determine the shear stress at 1 meter from support and 20 mm below the top fiber. So shear stress is VQ over IB. In general, this is the free body diagram. This is the shear at section 1, 1 meter from the left support. So shear at 1 equals WL over 2 minus W times 1. And for the section, this is the figure, this is the section. So we want to find the shear stress at this section, 20 mm below the top fiber. And the neutral axis is half of 260, so 130 mm either from the bottom fiber or from the top fiber. So 130, so that's also 130. Therefore, the distance of the centroid of this area above this section where shear stress is to be evaluated is 120 mm. 130 minus 10. So 120 mm. So that is Y. And area to be considered is 200 times 20. Area prime, 200 times 20. So from shear stress equals VQ over IB, where V is V1, and V1 is equal to WL over 2 minus W times 1. So WL over 2 minus W times 1, that's W times 4 over 2, so 2W minus W, so W kilonewtons. So W is, or shear 1 is 10.71 kilonewtons. So 10.71 kilonewtons or 10,710 newtons. So substitute into the formula, the results would be in megapascals. So shear stress is 10,710, then Q is 200 times 20 times 120 over I 200 times 260 cube over 12. B is the length of this section, which is 200. So solving for shear stress in megapascals, that's 0.08775 megapascals. Then finally convert that to kilopascals, so 87.75 kilopascals. So that's it for this video.